Until we break these three levels on XRP and see buyers become aggressive above, and at the same time, sentiment flip risk on, I'm not becoming overly optimistic that we're going to see a full-blown recovery on XRP's price. So just a few days ago, we hosted a Zoom call where we discussed and talked about XRP's price action utilizing the order flow tools. Hopefully you guys have now seen how accurate they are, because now we have come up into the area of interest that we were discussing and talking about, which was this aggressive seller over here at about $1.93 to $1.94 in terms of price action. Today, price came straight up into those areas of interest, and we're starting to now see a battle between buyers and sellers take place at this level. So the question is, after today's call, can we see buyers trap sellers at this level, turn it into support, and become aggressive above, pushing price higher into our next area of interest, which comes in at about $2 and some change? Or do we see buyers get trapped at highs and buyer momentum fail, sellers push price back down into these lows where their previously positions have been trapped? We'll go into that in here in just a second. Looking at the total cryptocurrency market cap, we are still holding this base that we had highlighted in a previous call as well, where you can see there is a trapped seller here at about $2.84 trillion. This is just utilizing the naked eye. You can assume that sellers got trapped at these levels. Buyers have now made an attempt to defend these prices. They came back, trapped sellers again, made an attempt to defend. Now for the third time, we're holding this level as a support. Sellers are getting trapped, but we're not seeing buyers become aggressive enough to break previous sellers that were aggressive enough to break supports in this area here over to the left-hand side. So with that being said, just looking at the total cryptocurrency market cap, I will become optimistic of a deeper recovery or a possible reversal could take place if we do see the $3.3 trillion area of interest act as a support, buyers strong enough to break above the aggressive sellers that broke the previous support here, creating this another leg down. Right now, I firmly believe that we are operating this A to B move, or this down leg, where you can see a lower low that broke the support, lower high, lower low formation. Buyers are now trapping sellers at these lows. The question now is can we see buyers become aggressive enough to push back above the aggressive sellers that existed here in this area, break the triple moving average, turn the triple moving average that is currently acting as a resistance into a support, trap sellers at $3.2 to $3.3 trillion, and start to make our way back to the upside, right? This is the question. And if we cannot, then I have room for concern that we are set to see lower prices in the total cryptocurrency market cap, right? That would mean the triple moving average continuing to act as a resistance, a failure to break above $3.3 trillion or the aggressive sellers that exist here in this area, buyers continuing to get trapped at highs, and prices continuing to trail down into lower territory, right? That's currently what I'm paying attention to right now for the total cryptocurrency market cap. Before we read the fundamentals, let's head over to the order flow real fast and take a peek at XRP's price action. Giving you guys a real quick update. We're just going to primarily do this analysis on the 4-hour and the 15-minute time frame, correlating the areas of interest on the 4-hour that we highlight and go over down to the 15-minute to take a look at more fractal price action, but we won't go any lower than that. So one thing that I'm liking that I'm seeing right now on the 4-hour is, remember in previous calls, after we had highlighted that there was a seller aggressive that stood at roughly about $1.93, and ideally what we would like to see is we would like to see price respect this delta and then start to throw up buy walls that support price action, pushing price higher that leads to price engulfing all of the sell walls internally in price and pushing the buy walls externally on price, pushing price higher. We're starting to see that materialize on the 4-hour, but it's nothing to get too excited about yet. Another thing that I'm liking, just taking a look at areas of interest, is just the other day at roughly about $1.90, there was a support wall thrown up. Buyers pushed price up into this area. Sellers trapped buyers at highs. You can see all that here in these buy imbalances that failed to break price higher. And they came back to retest this buy wall, and it has now acted as a support. This support comes in at about $1.90. So right now, this is our most immediate area of interest for buyers to hold, in my personal opinion, if we want to see higher prices. The lowest buy wall that we currently have on XRP's price, which would be our last support or last defense for buyers to defend if sellers were to overpower buyers and push prices lower, would be roughly coming in at about $1.80. You can see that little tiny buy wall right here. So I have that highlighted. If sellers were to overpower buyers and push price back down into this area, if we can see buyers defend $1.80, I would become hopeful that they would trap sellers and start to make their way back to the upside. If $1.80 breaks, however, that is the last line of defense, and that will most likely open the door for lower prices. The bottom of this delta, mind you, again, comes in at about $1.66, which will be our next immediate area of interest. To the upside, our targets still remain if we can break above this aggressive seller where we're currently hovering at right now at about $1.93. My next area of interest for buyers to break above before I get excited of a full-blown recovery comes in at about $2.04 to $2.03. If we can see buyers trap sellers at those areas that I just mentioned above, which is $1.93 and a $2.03 to $2.04 XRP, and sustain price above, see buyers trap sellers at those levels and become aggressive enough to push price higher, the next area of concern is still that sell dark pool that comes in at $2.27 to $2.28. You can see highlighted right here. Until we break these three levels on XRP and see buyers become aggressive above, and at the same time, sentiment flip risk on, I'm not becoming overly optimistic that we're going to see a full-blown recovery on XRP's price. So looking at how these levels translate down onto the 15-minute, you can see, again, I'm not moving anything. These yellow boxes, once we go over to the 15-minute, are going to stay the same, so that way you can kind of see more fractal price action. So over here now, we have the 15-minute time frame. You can see we had sellers trapped here at about $1.90. This is the type of price action that we want to see above those areas that I just mentioned on the 4-hour time frame. So this 15-minute price action right here, where we can clearly see sellers getting trapped at lows, buyers becoming aggressive. You can see that in this bullish imbalance. That imbalance being retested, buyers becoming aggressive to make higher highs, higher lows. Here you can see it again. Buy imbalance, aggressive buyers, trap sellers and bullish candlesticks, followed through with bullish aggression in the volume. Break above. This is that $1.93 area of interest. See how buyers became aggressive above these levels, but then sellers defended, trapped buyers at highs, and now have become aggressive, pushing price back down that area of interest and turning it into a resistance. We want to see this price action right here above those levels that I just mentioned. Right? We want to see aggressive buyers trapping sellers and continuing to follow through with aggression. And until we see that above the levels that I just mentioned, the highest one being $2.28, then we are still in my personal opinion, a concerning territory for XRP's price to possibly go lower. Nonetheless, though, you can see that this bullish leg that took place coming in at about $1.90, pushing above that $1.93 zone, was retested and has currently acted as a support. We had a trapped seller. Buyers followed through with aggression, starting to throw up buy walls externally on price. This is ideally what we would like to see, and we would like to see bullish activity continue to engulf price higher and trap all of these sell walls internally in price. We can zoom out and go back to the higher time frame, the 4-hour, and you can see how on the 4-hour, this is kind of what I'm trying to show you guys. Internally on price, you can see the buy walls are still inside price action, and externally the sell walls are still on the outside. We would like to see buy walls engulf price externally, and the sell walls get engulfed internally, and price break back above those levels that I mentioned above. Nonetheless, that area of interest that we had highlighted in just a couple of Zoom calls ago, which was here, that active or aggressive seller that exists at $1.93, has now been revisited. Let's just take a look at how price action today reacted to these levels. So you can see there is a massive battle right now between buyers and sellers at this key area of interest, which comes in at about $1.93. We're constantly seeing buyers get trapped at highs, sellers throwing up a passive defensive wall. But then every single time price comes back down into the VWAP and back down into these lower areas of interest or these buy walls, buyers continuing to defend. The question now is, who is going to win this battle? Are we going to see buyers with enough momentum to break above $1.93, retest it, trap sellers at this area, turn it into support, and continue to push price higher? Or are we going to see these buy imbalances continue to unfold at highs? That's buyers getting trapped, followed through with aggressive sellers pushing price back down into the lows, right? Very interesting area on XRP's price action right now in terms of the volume. So right now, again, just looking at the 15-minute correlation, how these areas of interest highlight from the 4-hour down to the 15. If we can come back down into $1.90, maybe we see one more attempt by buyers to defend, trap sellers at this level, hold it as support, and push price higher. This is also the bottom of the VWAP right now. You can see indicated by this gray line. If this can act as a support, and if we can break above $1.93, trap sellers, and push price higher, that will open the door for $2.04 as our next target. If we cannot, and buyers fail to push price higher, sellers overpower, trapping buyers at highs and becoming aggressive enough to break all of these supports here and break the $1.90 range, that is going to open the revisitation of possibly the top of this delta, which comes in at $1.85. Below that, my next area of interest for a revisitation comes in at $1.80. That $1.80 mark is that 4-hour last buy wall that we have here. That is the last area of defense for buyers if sellers are able to push price down into those levels. If buyers fail to defend at $1.80, if that does come into fruition, again, like I mentioned, that is going to open the door for the bottom of this delta, which is $1.66. We are a long way from that. Sellers have a lot of work to do. Buyers are definitely showing their hand, but we're still not seeing a full risk-on backdrop support price action as of time of recording. So you guys have the updated targets real fast. Let's just take a look at the overall. I don't think that they've changed since we've gone over them last. We still have the sell delta, like I mentioned, at $2.27 to $2.28. There's a buy delta at $1.90. The next buy delta below $1.90 comes in at the bottom of that delta. The buy dark pool comes in at $1.69, which does coexist with the bottom of the delta. So if we did see that $1.80 threshold break that I highlighted on the 4-hour and the volume tools, that would open the door for $1.69. If we can see price break above the sell delta, that'll open the door for a revisitation of the next dark pool, at $2.49 to possibly $2.63 as our next area of interest for some possible intraday profit taking. I won't get too excited. We have a lot of levels that we need to overcome before we see any higher prices on XRP. Nonetheless, the highest dark pool right now that is on our radar is at $3.28, just in case. Don't forget, I know that right now those levels are not on our radar, but in the past, we had dark pools resting at $4.44 and $5.17. I will definitely be looking to take some profit at those levels and areas of interest if they were ever to materialize. The lowest level right now on XRP still comes in at 73 cents. All right, so that is the update real fast for XRP, just taking a look at those price levels. You guys now know what levels to pay attention to. Pretty much nothing has changed. I honestly feel like going over this price action has been relatively boring because it's kind of moving super slow. The volume and volatility has kind of died down. But we know what we need to see to get excited about higher prices. I'm personally not getting excited until we break above that dark pool at $2.28, right? So if we break above that dark pool at $2.28, I'll start to get excited for a deeper recovery and possible sentiment shift in the total cryptocurrency market cap as well. But until that comes into fruition, I'm still expecting lower prices on XRP. I'll change that bias if we do break above that $2.28 dark pool and turn it into support. Going over the fundamental backdrop real fast so that way everybody understands the landscape and just kind of what I'm paying attention to and monitoring moving forward.